This weekend, a journalist was tackled to the ground simply for doing her job. But that deliberate act of violence, well, it wasn't the only danger Americans faced. What happened just a few hours later reveals a completely different and maybe even more unsettling kind of threat. So the flashpoint was Minneapolis. We're talking about an anti-ICE protest right outside the Whipple Federal Building this past Saturday. It started out as a demonstration, but it really didn't stay that way for long. The journalist's name is Savannah Hernandez, a contributor for Turning Point USA. And there's video out there. It captured the exact moment she was physically pushed and then tackled, all while just trying to cover the event. As you can imagine, law enforcement moved in fast. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office made several arrests right there on the scene. But the details of who was arrested and, more importantly, why, well, that tells the real story. It all boils down to this number: 4 arrests in total, and the breakdown is pretty revealing. Okay, so here's the breakdown. 3 of those arrests were for the alleged assault on the journalist, and the 4th, that was for forcibly obstructing a deputy. So you see, this wasn't just some clash between protesters and the press. It became a direct confrontation with law enforcement. Look, this was a clear, targeted threat, really a product of our deep political divides. But while we're so focused on the dangers we create for each other, what about the dangers we don't see coming at all? Because on that very same Saturday, hundreds of miles away in El Paso, Texas, a completely different kind of danger erupted. This wasn't political. It was random, it was sudden, and it all unfolded on an ordinary city street. It happened at the intersection of North Mesa and Brentwood, a multi-vehicle crash that brought that part of the city to a total standstill. The scene was so bad, investigators had to shut down the entire area for hours. And amidst all that wreckage, one person was rushed to the hospital in serious condition. In just a single instant, a simple drive to wherever they were going became a fight for their life. So here's where these two seemingly separate events connect. You have a deliberate act of political violence on one hand and a random, tragic accident on the other. On the surface, they're not related at all. But together, they really expose the dual threats that define American anxiety today. I mean, look at it this way. On one side, you have the Minneapolis assault. It's targeted, it's ideological, and it's a direct threat to the free press. Then, on the other side, you have the El Paso crash. It's random, unpredictable, and it's a threat to the simple safety of our everyday lives. This forces all of us to ask a really fundamental question. When we talk about what makes us feel unsafe in America, what are we really talking about? So which is the greater risk? Is it the ideological danger that we choose to create for ourselves? Or is it the random chaos we can never, ever control? That's the real question. Let us know what you think in the comments.